This episode of Pucks Out Podcast is brought to you by Action 24/7, Tennessee's only local legal sports book. Use code Pucks Out when you make your first deposit, and our friends at Action will double your deposit up to $800. And once again, this week, there are so many dope events and promos happening. Good day, mate. Put another shrimp on the barbie. While you watch the last few days of the Australian Open today, bet $30 on tennis today, and you'll get another $20 to use for live in-play games. And it's a time for college basketball parlay on Saturday. The Tennessee Vols are playing, and we've got a few top 25 matchups. Put $50 on a parlay, odds of 250 or greater, and you'll automatically get a $25 free bet for live betting. Once again, use code PUCKSOUT, that's PUCKSOUT, when you make your first deposit, and Action will double it up to $800. What are you waiting for?
From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hello.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Join them every Thursday for bingo and some amazing beer. Check out their new Soul Dark Lager and tell them Pucks Out sent you. How you doing this week, bud?
I'm here. I'm making it. Still recovering. Sad about that Titans loss that I was there at. Yeah. So that was, unfortunate. Better football team won. We'll talk more about that. Yeah. I'm here. I'm making it, man. Just been raking in buku dollars on Action, bro.
We both have.
So we super appreciate the sponsorship, and I appreciate you letting me win all your money. So, but how about you, man?
Doing all right. Still in recovery mode a little bit. Coming off of COVID, some of you listeners may know, after listening to last week's episode, I started feeling pretty rough, about halfway through the episode. Ended up, on Monday, the day before record, I tested negative. Apparently that was a little too early, because I did end up getting COVID. And I've been out of commission for about a week, and I'm doing better now.
To be fair, what was it that I told you? Like, bro, you kept saying, I don't know. Maybe I may have had. I'm like, no, bro, right? Like, you knew. Yeah, like you knew.
Yeah. Oh, I knew. On the way home, I was feeling real rough. Like, I felt like I got hit by a car. Yeah. It hit me fast and it hit me hard. But doing a little bit better. Unfortunately, was supposed to be on vacation next week, but still testing positive. So we're not going on vacation. We're going to push that a little bit, so I'll have to just be on the beach and getting drunk with unlimited drinks another time. But, so it's one of those things where I test positive. I'm out of the quarantine time, but I'm going to test positive for a couple weeks, apparently. So, but I'm good. I'm vaxxed up. I'm ready to party. I'm feeling better.
Vaxxed, waxed, not going on vacay.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I probably, it sucks, but it's probably for the best since we, have new contractual obligations to hit. We're going to be having to go late night tonight. So I'm glad you're feeling better. Glad you're back.
We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got a lot of NHL news. Once again, some ridiculous racism happening in hockey that we're going to talk about. NFL playoffs, games of the week, a joke of the week that rule number one, don't talk about joke of the week.
Don't talk about Bobby. Why did you even bring it up?
We got questions from the internet and much, much more. Don't forget to check us out on What a Maneuver and Patreon to support the show. Let's jump into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
You're always telling people to go, to What a Maneuver if they want to support us, but I feel like you're missing a very strong demographic. The people that hate us also go to What a Maneuver and buy our stuff so you can burn it.
Yeah, that is also A very good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to exclude people that hate my guts.
Yeah.
I want to include them more.
Yeah. There's a good chance that there's more people out there that dislike us.
I would see. I mean, look, that's money. If people are listening because they want to hate us, that's in my mind better than somebody that likes us. You know, if you're agreeing with everything we're saying, you know, I mean, you might like the show, but if you hate everything we're saying, you're definitely going to tune in and you're going to tell your friends about how you hate it.
Yeah. So let's jump right into something very divisive. Let's get into EHL player Jacob Panata suspended indefinitely after making racist gesture to Jordan Subban. I've seen the video. The video it's not the best quality video. It's kind of hard to see everything that happened, but you do see him doing the gorilla, like, you know, arms.
And we are sure that he is not a Puck South fan.
Not sure.
We're not sure. So, I mean,
one way or the other.
If I was a hockey guy that got in trouble for doing something like that, I'd be like, it's the Pucks Out podcast logo is what I was doing. So that's how I'd probably would have approached it. But
he wasn't even that smart. Obviously, he's not smart.
He wasn't smart, right? Yeah. I mean,
but he did it towards Jordan Subban. PK's Subban's little brother.
Didn't he get wrecked after? Didn't Subban wreck him?
His teammates did not come and defend him because they saw it too.
Yeah, why would you?
So he's been suspended indefinitely. And this is a day after an AHL player, and the name escapes me, did the same exact thing and also put out a ridiculous, like iMessage apology on Twitter.
It's so amazing to me. Like, I just don't get it. Obviously, this stuff is bad. Just because it's bad, regardless of people seeing or getting in trouble or hockey or, on the playground or wherever. The most surprising thing to me is the sheer stupidity of idiot people like this, racist or not even having to be racist, but just generally a jerk. You have seen online television, social media in the last 6 years, right? Like
we're seeing repercussions you were seeing consequences happening for people's actions.
Exactly.
You're not accountable now.
Well, no, yeah. I mean,
now, obviously, not enough people are being held accountable a lot, but obviously,
none of it's good. None of it's good. But it's more of what I'm getting to of like, the John Gruden thing. Like, he deserved to get called out and get in trouble and all that stuff. But like, at least I can understand it more. Where he thought like this is not going to get in the public eye. Like, you're literally a professional hockey player on ice in front of people.
Like, John Gruden still did it on his work email, but he didn't do it on camera.
It's not it's stupid to do it just because the action in itself is stupid.
And what made the video so much worse is that after Jacob Panata did that action, the video was being taken from like a cell phone by one of the fans. Immediately around that, the person taking the video, you hear the N-word being splat out towards Jordan Subban a lot. It's not a great look for the city of Jacksonville.
I mean, it's not the worst thing from the city of Jacksonville, though. If we can agree with that, racism is bad, but it's probably like one of like the third. I know
Jacob Panata plays for Jacksonville. I don't know if the game was in Jacksonville, so he was wearing the red jersey. It was a red jersey, and Jordan Subban seems wearing the white.
Just so I mean, ridiculous, and it's not even like you're an EHL guy. It's not like you even have the clout to like. In a couple years, we're just totally going to forget.
This is just, as you would imagine what would happen immediately, some NHL players who don't have good reputations backed him up and was like, oh, I've known this guy. He's
Evander Kane is like, dude is super not racist.
What's his name? Is it Andrew Shaw from the Blackhawks? The guy who got in trouble.
Shaw.
Yeah, got in trouble for calling, someone the F word, and then was assigned to be the Hockey Is For Everyone ambassador for the team, as naturally happens in this league now. Came out, was like, he's my cousin. He's a good guy. And his entire thing is like with way too many, like looks like a boomer wrote it because it's way too many exclamations. Like, he's the best guy. He's the best of them.
There's like a one somewhere in the exclamation.
He's like, he meant to do the tough guy pose because eventually Jacob Panata came out and was like, I didn't mean to do that. I did the tough guy pose like Tom Wilson did. Tom Wilson's pose was much different. It was not directed towards a person of color. And it was very clearly a tough guy pose. He wasn't bringing his fists up.
Exactly.
There's a big difference.
Dude, there is not a person in that stadium that saw this guy throw his arms out sideways like he was flexing and say, that dude's a racist. Like, no, bro. Yeah. Like, you've done the additional things that are required.
And luckily, it's a good thing that some players like Tom Wilson came out specifically and called Jacob Panata out and was like, no, that is some like, not even before he started to say he did the tough guy thing, but like, that has no place for this in hockey.
No, I mean, look.
Yeah.
Be a
PK,
be a jackass if you want. I'm okay with you being a jackass in hockey, as long as you're the same jackass to the white guy as you are the black guy, right? Be a complete tool bag, but just overall be the same tool bag.
You think Brad Marchand cares who he licks?
No, he would lick a black man just like he'd lick a white man. Okay, as long as it would annoy that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a sentence a lot of people thought they'd probably hear on Pucks Out.
You know, we keep it real here. I mean, it's funny. This is something that over the course of what is now roughly 2 years of us, maybe not 2 years worth of episodes, but 2 years worth of us recording.
Well, funny that you say that. I forgot to put it on here, but I did. It was just Wednesday of last week was our 2-year anniversary of releasing our first episode.
There we go. So, I mean, we've been doing this for 2 years. It was one of the first 3 episodes we did. Ben Douglas, the guy we met when we were at the Winter Classic, a person of color in hockey that we talked about this. Like, this is not nothing, has changed really in 2 years. It's so ridiculous.
Moving on, Flyers, Keith Yandel, the 35-year-old defenseman, is played his 964th consecutive game, tying Doug Jarvis. He can pass him tonight of recording on Tuesday against the Isles and become, the have the Iron Man record.
And he's a good guy. I'm sure I'll say that. And then next week, there's a video of him, yelling racial slurs and doing the Hitler, pose or something. But as far as I know right now, he's been a good guy that I've seen. What a guy, what a great person to hit that little Iron Man mark. 960 games. That's a lot. That's amazing. I mean, it's, what Ripken had like 3,000, 2,000, something ridiculous. And that's the most impressive feat ever. But hockey, that's a game where he's a defenseman and he's either laying hits or getting hit.
And it's not just
game.
The physical brutality that you're having to go through, but also just the fact that you're staying on a team. You have the talent to stay on an NHL roster.
Yes, yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, I'm super crazy. Super crazy to be able to see him play hockey.
Kaprizov notches his 100th point. Only took 92 games. I believe that makes him 6th overall, 6th fastest, something like that.
Yeah, we talked about who we thought that really realistically deserved that captainship in the Central, and I think you had spoken on somebody, and I went with Kaprizov. Or no, I think it was Last In, maybe.
Yeah,
Last In. Yeah, I
went Roman Yossi.
Yossi played great. And he's a great, but Kaprizov is he's just nasty now, man. Congratulations! I think we're going to get to see a great hockey player from the point. Unfortunately, he has to play for the Wild, but
he might wind up on the Preds eventually.
He's not the worst. He's not. Yeah, that's not the worst team he could be. Where he could be. I wouldn't mind.
There was a nice little pipeline between the Preds and the Wild. So
exactly. Once they've used him up, they're going to trade him right over to us, and we're gonna use the heck out of him after we've already set everything up. So congratulations to him.
After 64 years to the day, Willie O'Ree's number 22 was lifted in the rafters in TD Garden. His number officially retired.
Is that going to be across the league number?
I believe that the whole league did an honor of, but I believe just in Boston, his number will be retired. As far as I know,
I think it should be across the league. Now, it may be a situation where it takes a little bit, where they don't want to take it away from that team and let it be retired in Boston, and then in few years down, That's in my mind a lot like the Jackie Robinson thing. Like, there's no 42s.
Yeah.
But on Jackie Robinson Day, doesn't everybody wear 42?
I think so.
Something like that. I think something like that would be cool for a guy like Willie O'Ree. For all intents and purposes, the Jackie Robinson of hockey.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't see why he wouldn't get a similar,
for sure,
type of treatment.
Fun fact time. Alex Ovechkin has more career goals than the entire Ottawa Senators roster combined. When I first saw this stat, on the game, they just said career goals, and it had Ottawa Senators and Alex Ovechkin. I was like,
you thought it through the sea. Okay,
I was like, how the fuck does Ottawa's franchise goals? How have they been that bad? Then I'm like, wait, there was a good bit where they were like the best team in their division.
I was going to say, and then now
it's their current roster's goals,
right? Which makes a lot more sense.
Which is still pretty insane.
Not a whole lot less impressive, but definitely makes more sense. I was like, there is no way that as an organization, they've only ever scored 627.
That's what I thought too. That's what a lot of Reddit thought, because it was a very misleading graphic that they put up on the TV on the screen. But then after people no, because it literally just says career goals, and it's like it's very misleading.
Yeah, but I mean, no less impressive.
2022 All-Star Weekend to have non-All-Stars in the skill comps. They've confirmed.
Finally,
yeah, about time.
I mean,
maybe
Barzal
can defend his fastest skater.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
The thing is, you don't have to be an all-star to be the fastest skater. You don't have to be,
It is sad that you have to be an NHL player, because Rocco Grimaldi is real fast.
Yeah.
He would at least deserves a shot at the fastest skater, but I don't think they can bring someone up from the AHL.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I mean,
I think it should always be the defending champ in whatever event it is, whether if they're on the All-Star team.
They should always
there.
Come and get a chance to defend agree with that. I mean, I don't see why you can't defend your 3-point, your 3-point shooting or your.
I would like to also see them add some alumni people in there, have
Shea
Weber come in for the slap shot challenge.
Yeah, maybe do.
I don't even know if he's technically an alumni. Is he retired? I don't know.
I think he's technically LTIR, right?
Maybe,
I mean, he's probably still catching some paychecks or something.
Yeah.
I mean, Preds are probably still paying him like $150 million a year or something. No, I agree with that. I would like to see some maybe alumni 3-on-3 type stuff. I think that would be super cool. Do we know if we're gonna have some women's Olympics type stuff?
I'm not sure.
I guess probably not, because they're probably going to be in the Olympics.
Yeah,
they'll probably not want to come play halftime of the pickup game. No, I mean, that was that last year. That was almost the most fun aspect of it. Was that 3-on-3?
Yeah, I am interested in the breakaway challenge, and I hope it's not just a shootout challenge. I hope that it's literally
no, it needs to be a breakaway.
I hope that there's 2 defensemen that you have to that are start maybe 5 yards back.
or at least something that's in your way. It's not.
I think they should have
just
some of the defensive all-stars try to chase you down.
Yeah,
that would be
maybe
dope.
Me and you.
Yeah, that'd be real dope.
Well, cool. That should be fun, man.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
The NFL playoffs.
Well, before you do that, because we're going to have a lot to say about that, and I don't want this other stuff to just get swept under the rug. A couple college basketball mentions. Number 1 team in the nation. How about the Auburn Tigers, baby?
Nice.
Beat Kentucky this weekend. And then you had a shout out for a specific college basketball team that you wanted them to hear, right?
Yeah. Fuck off, Kansas.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that one. I'm with you there.
I had you -7.
That's all you had to do was win by 8 points.
With a double overtime.
Idiots.
It was a classic, apparently.
Classic dumb. And then Sean Payton stepping down from
Kevin James has decided to step down from so he's not calling it retirement. He's calling it stepping down. He is, and already I believe Fox is using him as leverage against Troy Aikman, because Troy Aikman is looking at going over to Amazon and being their head of being their lead broadcaster. And so they're using
Aikman.
So they're using Sean Payton as leverage for his contract or something like that. So it looks like he'll have a pretty direct line into the commentating booth.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever a question. I bet you they would let that man commentate while he was coaching if they wanted to. He'll be really good at that.
I will say I always find that weird when colleges do that. They had the what is his name? The former Notre Dame coach,
Brian Kelly.
Commentate the LSU bowl game.
Yes,
and that was weird because they're asking him questions that he obviously cannot give you the legit answer.
Right.
That was a pretty bad play. What are your thoughts on that player? And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, he can't say
he does it about his own team. Why couldn't he do it about someone?
I'm gonna execute him.
I'm with you on that for sure. I'm not a Brian Kelly fan, as you know, but I mean, Sean Payton will be great wherever he goes.
Yeah,
I will look forward to listening to some games he calls. Hopefully, he won't, pay any money for any of the guys to get murdered out there or anything. We can't guarantee that. Greg Williams may call him up.
Do you think if some of the commentators booths had to use a headhunter to get him, and Sean he's like, oh yeah, I know plenty of headhunters. It's like he's like, oh, that's what you meant.
He's like, oh, you're recruiting me.
Oh.
I don't know. I know recruiting headhunters myself personally.
Yeah. Anyway, the NFL playoffs, what an absolute amazing weekend. From a fan point of view.
Oh, my goodness.
It was sad seeing the Titans lose.
From a general fan point of view.
I did win some money. I had Bengals money line at plus 255.
Nice.
So
I had the over. I had a little bit of money on the Titans money line, and then obviously I had Titans futures. I went to the game. Better football team won. I mean, you can't win football games like that. That defense played so insanely superb that the score being what it was insane.
Yeah, and it's one of those times where I'm partially happy because I called it, and when you call something, it feels good. But my team, the Titans lost.
Yeah.
But I said last week, Tannehill proved it to me in the regular season, but the playoffs are a different animal. And I said Tannehill has to prove it to me in the playoffs that he has gotten rid of that Miami Tannehill stink.
Well, he
did not have a good game.
No, I mean he did not.
Not all three of those interceptions are on him.
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. He did not have a good game, Bobby. He had a horrendously bad game. Okay, it was. It was. Now, you lost the game.
Now, all three interceptions were not on him.
They weren't, but there was about six other. There was about but forget the three. Well, let's forget the three interceptions that did happen. Let's pretend all three of them didn't happen. There was about 8 others that should have been interceptions. That were worse passes than some of these three.
Bad.
So, he wasn't leading anybody. It was insane to watch in person.
It's especially insane when you go from that game and you go to the next night and you see that Chiefs-Bills game and the absolute superiority that those quarterbacks wield on the field.
Yeah, and now to be fair, I don't think that the score would have been the same if the Titans would have been playing either of them. Not if the defense played the same. I mean, we would definitely be rocking the under right now because that defense. I mean,
9 sacks.
9 sacks.
Now
11 sacks, really, when they just didn't call delay of games.
So here's the thing. One thing you gotta remember is that the Bengals are the most sacked offense. And Tannehill's actually the second most sacked quarterback in the league. It is insane that this Bengals team has done what they have been able to do with Joe Burrow getting that hit that many times.
It's a
I haven't done the research yet, but I would like to see how many times the most sacked quarterback in the regular season goes on to a conference championship.
Yeah,
I feel like it's not a lot. So what what did I say last week? That if the Titans want to win, they need to make Joe Burrow throw within less than 3 seconds. And a lot of times they got him to throw in less than 3 seconds, but a lot of times they also.
It's because when you get 12 points off of field goals that the other team is giving you, I mean, again, if the offense plays even an adequate level of game and we punt the ball, like we're talking, the game isn't 23-16, it's 11 to.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just so many things that I just didn't understand. Like there was zero advantage of going for 2. That is a Vrabel letdown. There's no analytics that say that's correct. Yeah. There's no advantage of going up 2 points. I think Vrabel is a great coach. I think he overthought it. Is more of his problem. He didn't get good quarterback.
No, I think
play.
He's a decent coach, but I think this game this was not a good game.
It was.
And you know what? In the playoffs, that's when you have to have you can have a bad game or two as a coach in the regular season. You got to step up to the plate.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Vrabel. I mean,
he's not going anywhere.
If he had half semi-competent quarterback play, it'd be a different animal. I mean, the play calling was bad. I don't understand how you get the ball from the 20 to the 20, just running the football, and all of a sudden we're going to switch it up.
Yeah,
run the football.
What? Yeah,
pound it.
You got Derrick
face.
Henry. Use him.
There is not a person.
He is fresh. I mean,
you have a 3rd and 1, and you do a weird.
Foreman's looking good out there.
Well, you do a weird, RPO with your quarterback, and then you come out on 4th and 1, and then you running up the middle. It's like, no, bro, you give that ball to Derrick Henry or Foreman twice, or you do the smart thing and do 2 quarterback sneaks. Is really what they should have done. But you imagine we're driving down trying to score, throw an interception to set the Bengals up, and well, maybe we would be kneeling the football down if we were up by 1 point. You know what I'm saying? Like that's ultimately what it boils down to. Is there was no advantage to getting the 2-point conversion, but you lost everything because you didn't get it.
Yeah.
Great football game by the Bengals. They held in there. I mean, Jamar Chase is. I think the Titans did as good of a job as you can do on a superstar like Jamar Chase.
I think that looking forward for the Bengals, I think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will win.
It's too much. The Chiefs
but
are too much.
I think that the odds should be closer right now. I think last I checked on Action, the Chiefs were minus 355. I think.
Yeah, it was a little.
I think it was like
high.
minus 11.
It was. Oh wow, that's really gone up because it started at 7.
Okay, so it might have been minus 7.
But I mean, that's still a high playoff spread.
I think it's going to be closer than that. I think the Chiefs are tired. I think Russ made a good point. Chiefs are tired. That game that we're going to talk about in a second, that takes a lot out of a team.
It does, but does it? But I mean, we've seen Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill do that before. That's how they play football in general. I think that was just I think whoever won that football game was going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that's what I texted you as well. I said whoever wins. I think the Bills and the Chiefs were the Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful game of football.
I think that a lot of teams, and I will always say this, that if you don't win the Super Bowl, for example, the Titans season was a failure. With that loss,
yeah,
that was a failure.
not with the. I mean, because I think that the Titans were going to lose this weekend anyway. I think without Derrick Henry at the end, we didn't have any momentum. We slowed down with the bye. I think the bye is a detriment to a team at this point. We talked about this. The bye it's
no longer I think in this league, because this is not a league, because go back 30 years when it was a run more often and more gritty game, you wanted that, but now it is a fast-paced. It's a momentum game.
It's a timing and momentum, and you're feeling
coming in off a big win.
Minus 7, or plus 7, 323, and then plus 240 for the Bengals. I like that number for the Bengals. I'm not going to put a lot on it, but I'm going to put some on it for sure.
I'm not going to take. I honestly might take Chiefs to cover the spread.
Yeah, I mean, I may throw that in there a little bit.
I think the Bengals are a good team. I just don't think they're in the same class as the Chiefs right now.
They're not. They're not. I mean, I agree. The Chiefs are clearly a superior team.
I'm going to take the. I think the over. What's the over? What's the over on the game? It's got to be like 56,
54.5. I actually Action had their put 50 on on one of the championship games, and you get
I did
something
that.
free.
I took Rams money line.
I took over 52 at minus 141 on Action. $50 to win 85.50. I said 52 points is doable.
I think for that game, I'm going to go in and take an outline of over. I think I'm going to follow up what I did this last week. I'm going to take 57.5.
Yeah, I mean, there's some money to be made there. I might be going and putting a little money on San Francisco as well. I don't know. Sean McVay has never beaten the Niners.
Yeah,
I mean, they play well as underdogs.
That is right. It's hard for me to go against the Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think no doubt. Honestly, the way that the way the Rams dissected Tampa was that at the end there, that was.
To the same argument that you're making, the way that San Francisco's defense dissected Dallas 100%. And dissected the best offense in the league. I'm with you. I mean, look, hey, Sean McVay, it's hard to bet against.
Maybe
sure.
Green Bay could play in weather.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, being at Los Angeles, San Francisco will travel fairly well there. It would be insane to see the Rams making to the Super Bowl in both the conference championship and the Super Bowl having in their own stadium having more away fans, because that's what's going to happen. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see for sure. I mean, the Chiefs will show up. I mean, a bunch of Cincinnati fans that were all awesome. It was really
you're thinking
fun.
It's going to be Chiefs 49ers?
I haven't decided on my other game yet, but I mean, it's Chiefs for sure for me. No question.
I'm thinking Chiefs Rams.
I'm thinking Chiefs. I'm leaning more Chiefs Rams, but it's like I'm 50.1.
I think that's going to be the better game as far as competitiveness. Now, I hope to see a good. I will not be mad if the Bengals go to the Super Bowl.
Me either. I won't be. Honestly, I would not be. I would prefer Bengals and then either of the other two teams. Just because, Kansas City's won it pretty recently, and I'd love to see somebody else win it. I don't hate the Chiefs. I'm the guy that wants to see everybody win one. I just see no world where
I think that
the Bengals winning is possible.
The only way you beat the Chiefs is if you can beat the holy shit plays the Chiefs do, and we saw that the Bills couldn't stop that. The Bills could stop on neither defense could really stop.
The Bills are a vastly superior defense to Cincinnati.
And I think that when Mahomes does those insane things, when he's bailing to his left and then he on the run throws crossbody all the way to the right and Travis Kelce's there.
I think the difference is instead of being able to contain those plays for the Bengals, I think the Chiefs, as long as they don't make mistakes off those plays, I don't think containing the plays even matters. It just does. I mean, we saw 13. He gave him 13 seconds, and he kicked a field goal.
I mean, the fact that play, the play that really put them in field goal position, that Travis Kelce 29-yard play up the middle, that was all impromptu. You heard him, Mahomes and Kelce talking to each other right before the snap. Kelce called an audible on his own route, and they just started playing backyard football. Kelce was just like, I'm just going to get open. I'm not taking a route. I'm just going to get open.
Yeah, I mean, that last drive, I mean, we were talking about it. I was going to lose one of my same game parlays. Yeah. I mean, it was way out there for sure.
And I thought you were like, oh, Kelce touchdown is one. And I was like, well, it can definitely happen. And you needed a catch.
Chelsea, I only needed a catch from him.
And Kelce still ended up getting a touchdown.
It was Chiefs money line. I did have Kelce touchdown separately. So Chiefs money line, Patrick Mahomes over 299, 7 receptions from Kelce, 65 yards, and 2 Chiefs sacks made. So I went in with 3 minutes left and the Chiefs winning the game with 274 yards from Patrick Mahomes and like 5 catches from Kelce. And then they made that big play, took me over the 300, took me to 1 catch from Kelce. And then he gets that. It was honestly
the game of the year.
It was playoff football. The Super Bowl won't be as good as that. But I mean, that was what was it? Like plus 1,000. It was 10 to win 120. So I mean, that was good money for sure.
Now, I don't know if you want to talk about any snaps you stick. The overtime. Do you think? Listen, I don't like. Me. I don't like the way the overtime is set up. However, people, these are the rules that are in place. Both teams know this. Andy Reid last year went to the NFL and won it and attempted to get these rules changed.
Yeah. I mean,
31 other teams, including the Bills, obviously, said no.
Yeah. So, I mean,
these teams know what happens when you go to overtime.
Yeah, this is
a game of football. Your defense needs to step up. And you know what? You don't have to not let them score. You need to not let them score a touchdown.
Right. Yeah.
You can let them score a field goal. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, all these are being decided by a coin flip. This morning, I looked it up, and
hold on, Bobby. Before you continue, I mean, it sounds like you have a really good point, but everybody's saying this game is decided by a coin flip. I was unaware that when they started the football game, they flipped the coin, and then the game was decided at that point.
Yes.
I thought that they played 4 quarters of football.
Exactly. Not to mention, every single coach in this league, at the beginning of the game, they want to defer. Why? Because they want to put their defense on the field. Why, then, if that's the case, then you should be okay with putting your defense field at the end. Like these are professionals.
But it's a little different.
But here's my biggest thing. Everyone wants to say, oh, the game is decided by a coin flip. Since the rule has changed, since overtime rules changed, there's been 156 overtimes. 38 of them have been won by a team scoring a touchdown on the first drive. That is not a coin flip. Coin flip is 50, 51, 49% of but no, this is well less than 50% of games being decided by the first drive on a touchdown.
I would argue
you get your defense out there and win a football game.
I would argue that 2 calls or non-calls and eventually calls in the Titans game made a bigger impact to the overall of the game than a tied game all the way past 4 quarters and then a coin flip happening.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Burrow, and this is two-sided. First of all, there was 2 delay of games that happened and were not called. And that's watching the field, they weren't even coming to stop the play. It wasn't like it was too loud and they couldn't come and stop the play. That is, what if Joe Burrow got hurt on one of those quote unquote sacks? I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to win the football game like that on a delayed of game when the quarterback gets rocked and gets hurt. I mean, hey, I'd be happy to be sitting there in the conference championship, but I mean, we'd always know what a garbage. What that affects the game.
The delay of game situation in the NFL, we have the technology now to know we can literally superimpose the clock onto the screen. There is no reason they have to have this antiquated situation where the ref has to look at the thing when it hits 0, then take a second, look at the ball, and confirm it hasn't been snapped. Yeah. That you're giving them an extra second, sometimes up to a second and a half. You can have a situation where they have mics. They can have a little up in the booth say, blow the whistle, it's a delay of game. That can happen.
It's easy money. My thing is, we
have the technology. Use it.
Well, Matt, we can even forget technology, which is obviously there to be had. We don't even have to do replays. They could hire mathematicians to do when you got that pile. It's like, well, you got to be able to see it. Well, like math is math, and like those mathematicians can tell you exactly. I mean, you've seen sports science, right? Like
we can also put a small. We have the ability to put something a chip on the ball, and a chip in the markers.
All it does is they cross pass,
and that's my biggest issue with it. Like, listen, I really, and it's hard for me to voice my opinion on this because it is, yes, it is the rules. I don't like it when they make a call because it's like, for example, if you're down by contact because the sliver of a pinky grazed the guy's jersey by accident. Mm-hmm. And the only reason you're seeing that is because you're slowing it down to a minuscule of a second. I get it; it's the rules. Call it how it is. If you're going to call it all the same. But in reality, he wasn't down by contact. He caught the ball and he wasn't touched. And so they zoom in on this one little part, but then they can't be as, petty when they're looking at other stuff.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, going back to it, they made the right call on the Titans interception. I mean, yeah, that ball hit the ground, but he had control of it before it hit the ground. I am very glad, though, that we are spending our time talking about, the 3 games that mattered and not talking about the most garbage game of all night, the Niners Packers.
We'll talk a little bit about it.
It was garbage.
It was a bad game. Aaron, we talked a little bit about it before we went on air. Aaron Rodgers' legacy. What do you think if that was Aaron Rodgers' last game, which it very well could be?
It won't be. He's a talker.
He likes the drama.
He likes to dramatize everything.
Yeah. Do you think he's still in Green Bay? I think.
Is he under contract?
I think his contract's over. I think
if his contract's up, then
I think no, because he only had they did a 1 year for this year. I think Denver was.
No, he's under contract.
Is he?
For
I thought
sure.
that there was a lot of talk about him leaving.
Him getting traded though.
So he's got 1 season left on it.
$25 million. I mean, look, Green Bay. I mean, if I was Green Bay, he either plays for Green Bay or I get the biggest haul that I've ever gotten. Or he sits at home.
Yeah,
I'm not giving up Aaron Rodgers without getting my due.
Here's something that Green Bay needs to take into account. They need to start figuring out what the fuck they're going to do out because the fact is, whether it's this year or next year, the time on Aaron Rodgers is running out. They need to know what's happening after Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Jordan Love is there. I mean,
they need to start giving Jordan Love some playing time. Jordan Love needs to get some play time, and they need to figure out if he's going to be good.
I feel like I need to take you back to 2004, and Aaron Rodgers didn't play football for like 4 years, bro. And now he's Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm of that belief that quarterbacks shouldn't come in and play. I mean, there are some guys that
I'm not saying you're not getting a start, but I mean, he needs to start seeing some time.
He saw a little bit this year, but Aaron Rodgers saw 0 time. But he played a couple games. Yeah. Remember, Aaron Rodgers was out. No, I'm with you. No, he has a 2020. He's 2022 and 2023. Yeah. So he's got 2 more years. It's garbage. I agree. The legacy probably should be tainted a little bit as far as
it's definitely tainted. I think even if you don't look at the off-field stuff.
No, I'm just, when I want to talk about legacy, let's talk about legacy, not personal legacy. Yeah. What's his football legacy?
And I think it's definitely, 0-4 in the playoffs against the 49ers. I think only 1 ring. And like I said in the show, 1 ring does not have the pull as it did 10 years ago.
I agree with that.
There used to be a time where it was like, oh, he's got a ring. Well, it's like, yeah, okay, he's got a ring.
But I mean, you go back and like, who looks at Peyton like that? I mean, Peyton only has 2 rings, but for all intents and purposes, Peyton's only has 1 ring.
But at the same time, people also agree. I mean, there's a lot of consensus that Peyton Manning is the greatest regular season quarterback to ever play the game.
I agree with that. I agree with that. No,
he's got the other accolades. There was not one team that destroyed Peyton in the playoff. I mean,
Patriots would like to say something.
Yeah, but he also beat the Patriots a couple times. I mean, he beat Tom Brady.
True.
And I think it also helps. I know we don't like talking, but as humans, he does have a friendly. I mean, he off the field. Peyton Manning's Peyton Manning.
He's a better person.
He is friends with Tom Brady. Him and Tom Brady can chuckle it up.
Well,
and
I have a lot more to say personally about Aaron Rodgers, but if we're just talking about legacy football wise, there are always going to be people that don't think that he's great because of his vaccine stance or whatever. And I don't agree with it. I think he's dumb in it, but I'm not going to say that Aaron Rodgers isn't one of probably the top 5 quarterbacks I've ever seen play football. Just because I don't agree that he,
he's a great quarterback. I don't think he has gone down in a couple ranks because of especially. I think this postseason is going to leave.
It'll leave some.
Sting.
I mean, after all the garbage that he put everybody through and dealt with, and then can't even go out there and win a home playoff game against the team that
can't even get a touchdown.
The team that scraped in on the back burner. I mean,
a team from California coming into Lambeau Field with with one of the coldest days of the year,
and Jimmy Garoppolo quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. How the fact that Ryan Tannehill he had the worst game of any quarterback, but he wasn't the worst quarterback in the playoffs. I'm with you. I
believe this is the first conference championship in 13 years that does not include Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady.
I love that.
I love Tom Brady. I think that's a great thing. I think to have having these young quarterbacks there. Well, I guess not really. I guess Patrick Mahomes is the.
There's only one quarterback that's even won a Super Bowl here. We got Joe Burrow, a future player in this sport. We have Matt Stafford, a guy that we all agree, deserves one after what he's gone through.
Yeah. I am glad that Lions fans are rooting for the Rams because of Matt Stafford, and that there's no disdain for Matt Stafford.
No, I mean, look, there was no in no way he was going to win a championship in Detroit. It's just not going to happen. And I like Sean McVay, but I like I like Shanahan, and I like Garoppolo and Debo, and this is a best case scenario with the final 4 teams, no doubt. But one game we haven't talked about since we're using football as our main topic today. You almost did it, man. The old man almost pulled him off another one.
When at halftime of that game, I almost said the Patriots. The Bucs are down 27-3, and I'm like, we've seen this before.
Yeah,
we've all seen it before.
No, we haven't though, Bobby. It was 28. It was 28-3. That was that was Brady's problem right there. Is it wasn't 28-3. It wasn't nearly insurmountable enough.
And the fact is, this is probably the closest it's come to being the last time we see Tom Brady play a football game. And it, honestly, it was sad. It was because he does deserve to go out with a Super Bowl. And seeing him go out in that way, where his defense lets him,
I think he'll be all right.
But seeing him lose that game in that way, where his defense, when he brings the team and his defense lets it down.
Well, I would argue that maybe if he didn't let them down all of the first half. No, I'm with you. I mean, it was something truly great to witness.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it. I needed 6 passes from Matt Stafford in the 2-minute drill time. And so for a action single game parlay, and I was like, well, no worry, I'm not going to get this, but I'm going to get my money back for it. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess unless Tom Brady going from the 10-yard line here, unless he scores, and then they get the ball back. And then he scores again. Yeah. But I was like, but we got 1 minute left. How's it going to happen?
Do you think that Tom Brady would have rather them just let Cooper Kupp score that touchdown rather than tackle him in field goal range? Because then at least he gets because he can say, give me, what is that, 30 seconds left?
30 seconds
to march down.
Are you asking me, do I want Tom Brady?
Do you think Cooper Kupp would have just stopped and be like, I'm going to kneel it on the
Cooper Kupp is smart enough that he would have Brian Westbrook did, I think. And now it was a long pass, and so I don't know if he was quite thinking like that. But I mean, you remember Brian Westbrook from the Eagles have that long run and then stop at the one. Yeah. I mean, the great players are great because they don't care about that touchdown. They don't care. They know that
Super Bowl.
They know that this wins me the football game, so I'm going to do this. I think that he probably would have realized what was happening, but maybe he wouldn't have. Yeah, he would have definitely preferred he scored. But hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that we'll never know. The clearly superior football team won.
Yeah.
The better player didn't get what he needed. That was what happened.
Yeah.
The best player on the field didn't play a good first half and did a fantastic job of almost bringing it back. But it turns out that it could have just as easily been 27-3 Tampa.
Yeah, it is insane that, that defense, you've got one job. Don't let the Triple Crown winner get behind you when you've got to stop a long ball. It's just one-on-one coverage against Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp will not win the MVP. I think that's a travesty. It's a travesty. There's not a chance. I mean, I'm sure I could probably go get plus 5,000 odds for him to win it, and he's the most deserving of it, and he won't. And that's just the way football is. You're not a quarterback. You're not going to win it. But I mean, if he doesn't win the Offensive Player of the Year, I think I'm going to be pretty frustrated with the voting situation. I mean, he's made his team better from top to bottom. He hasn't had those Cooper Kupp games like he's had in the past, really, where he just disappears and does nothing. I think he maybe had one or two, but he was clearly the superior football player, and I think there's a real chance of him winning the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
So more to come. I'm jazzed about Conference Championship weekend. What a fantastic divisional week of NFL football.
I'm excited. All right, let's move into games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All right, we got a score update. I'm sitting at 46, 23, and 3. Bond is sitting at 37, 32, and 3. We both went 3 and 2 last week, so not much really has changed as far as,
A whole lot's changed because normally I go like 1 and 4. Okay, so just to keep up with you has been a big change for me, and I don't know what to do with myself.
So I have not picked in either of you, so we're going to pick all while we're reading them.
We should pick each other's. All-Star weekend, baby.
So why don't you start us off with your Thursday game?
Yeah, I have Golden Knights playing the Panthers. Thursday, 1:27 at 6 p.m. I'm super torn because the Golden Knights have been playing pretty good hockey lately. Panthers not so. I mean, not bad hockey, but just not been the
coming
Panthers
down to earth a little bit more.
Not the Panthers that we've seen. I'm actually going to go Golden Knights on this one. Surprisingly enough to myself, I was pretty sure.
Who's home in this one?
The Panthers.
Okay.
So basically nobody. Boom. All right, what you got on Thursday,
I got
brother?
Calgary versus St. Louis.
You did have St. Louis on there earlier. I personally like it better.
This to me was a toss-up to the home team. I'm taking the Blues on Thursday night.
Yeah. I mean, and if you lose, all works out, right? Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like of all of our games we picked, we got a lot of great games. I feel like this is literally the best option from the whole week. I've got the Wild playing in New York at the Rangers Friday, the 28th at 7 p.m. Talk about a tough call here. At this point, I'm probably not going to win games of the week. So I at least want to give my people some good game. I really shouldn't have picked this game. I have zero idea. Going Rangers, baby.
I like it. I agree with you. Friday night at 7:30, I've got the Avs versus Chicago, a Central Division matchup. I got the Avs winning. There was not that many games to choose from.
I have a game like that as well that I'm gonna pick, but at least my team was slumping a bit. Next game actually is you. You get this one as well.
I got the Kings versus the Flyers.
Love it.
The Flyers, for longtime listeners, know that I have a year-to-year bet with our co-host on the Fantasy Goons, Davey, where who goes further in the playoffs, the Blue Jackets or the Flyers.
Last year we didn't have to worry about it too much. By the way, I always win if neither team goes to the playoffs.
And the Flyers are on a 10-game losing streak. They have sunk down to the bottom 5. And I think that continues. I think the Kings beat the Flyers.
They're just trying to bank a little bit from you losing this water bet, huh?
Kind of hoping I lose this week of games of the week, though.
All right. my game of the week on Saturday, 6 p.m. on Saturday the 29th. We got the Maple Leafs playing the Red Wings. Got some original six battle going on. Maple Leafs really made me sad last week by losing to the Rangers after going up 3-1. I had $50 on the Leafs.
Oh,
so
wow. I want some money on that game.
I got my free bet from it, and I actually ended up making good money off the free bet. But I'm watching.
I live bet the Rangers.
Oh my gosh, dude, 2-0. I'm like, all right, first period, we're good. Then it goes up 3, and then we got 3-1. I'm like, no big deal. And it goes from 3-3. I look at it, then all of a sudden, I'm walking to go to bed, and I was just checking the score. It's 6-3 Rangers. I'm like, what?
I caught the Rangers when they were down 3-0. I was like, the Leafs are gonna. I was like, the Leafs could choke plus 1,200. I'll throw a $5 on it.
That was so smart. I bet you won like $60 on it, right?
Yeah.
Like, good call, because I did my bet because I got something from the bet, but anyway. All of that being said, I'm going to go with the Maple Leafs.
Okay. Not who I would have gone with. But.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Maple Leafs, and I'll just throw money on the Red Wings.
Well, when the Maple Leafs up 5-0, that's when
I
really I'll go and throw money on.
I really try to not. I try to bet opposite of my games of the week. Seriously, I've been so bad this year, and I'm still over 50%.
Did you start 2 weeks ago when you started making a little bit of comeback? Is that when you started betting on them? Because you've had a decent last 2 weeks.
No, honestly, I've been having a much better 2 weeks gambling than I have on games of the week. So it's mostly just, I don't seek out to bet against myself. It's just if I'm thinking about betting on a game, I try to remember what my dumbass was thinking on Tuesday. So I've
done that sometimes where I go to bet on a game, I'm like, oh, this is a clear win. I'm like, wait, why am I opposite from games of the week? What was I thinking what was I thinking on Tuesday?
That's something that we don't take ourselves too seriously on this show. So I think it is me. Yeah, I got the noon game on Sunday. So the Kings playing the Penguins at Pittsburgh, Sunday 1:30 at, I'm sorry,
noon.
It's at noon on January 30th. This is tough, but what I am going to do is, because, I still got that bet going that the Penguins don't make the playoffs. Gonna bet,
You're tilting.
I am tilting on myself. I was like, I'm going to go Kings. But no, I'm not. I'm going to go Penguins.
I think that's a good call. I think Penguins are doing pretty decent right now.
Shut up.
On Sunday at 6 p.m. Again, not a lot of great games on Sunday.
I don't know. I like this game.
I got Boston versus Dallas. Dallas is struggling. You don't know what you're going to get from them on day to day. So this could be a good game for them, could be a horrible game.
Yeah,
Boston's playing real well though. They split up that perfection line, and they are seeing the benefits of it.
They really are. They are killing it.
Yeah, I'm taking Boston.
It's funny because I've been just seeking out Boston games and throwing money on their over pretty consistently, but the opposite. I've generally been hitting that under on the Stars. So now I'm in this perfect mesh of the world where I don't know if I should go one way or the other. So. But I love that game. I think you got the right call for sure. Yeah. And then my game, there's not a whole lot going on Monday. There were some decent games on Monday, but I also already had those teams, and I'd try to have 10 different teams. Oilers playing the Senators, and now this seems on the surface, if you're just looking at the record, like an E. Oh, take the Oilers, no problem. They have not been the Oilers lately. I think we talked about it last week, and I think this is a get-right game, though. They've won a couple since we've talked poorly on them. I'm going Oilers. I just don't see the Senators, have won some games here and there. I just don't see any way that they can pull out that W. So.
All right, so my last game of the week, I've got Florida versus Columbus on Monday, the 31st at 6 p.m. Florida is coming back down to earth a little bit, but I don't see how Columbus can keep up with Florida. I've got Florida winning this game.
That seems like a hope and a dream there for you, bud. I'm actually thinking Columbus on that. They play really well at home.
Yeah.
10 good games this week. I'm super excited. I feel like this is a good week for me to I need to pull. I mean, I'm 9 games back right now. Is the problem? I mean, that's a
you need me to have a bad week.
That's ultimately the thing. Like, I'll take a 3-2 week if I can get a 1-4 week from you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just can't sustain overall if you just keep it up. I mean, but that's what happened about this time last year. I think it was about similar, and you did that massive comeback. So maybe I'll be able to pull something off.
I definitely think you're it. Before we move on, we do have some breaking news. David Ortiz has been elected to the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame.
Nice.
And let's see here.
Something we didn't mention, Javon Curse, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So, the freak.
Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens have run out of eligibility to get into the Hall of Fame, so they are out.
That's frustrating to me. I mean, I'm not a fan of either of those two, and I don't hate the fact they're not in the Hall of Fame. But it's wrong. I mean, they're Hall of Fame baseball players.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another time. Maybe guys that got snubbed for Hall of Fame.
We'll talk a little bit about that next week. But let's move on to Joke of the Week.
The Weird. Corey Perry. Yeah, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each 6th chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the Joke of the Week.
We got some news.
I don't know if I'm even allowed to mention this.
If we're not, they'll probably change it.
Number 1, hopefully they just change it in China. China gives Fight Club a new ending where the authorities win. It's like my thing is like, just like, why are you even the first line, right? The first line is the first rule of Fight Club in China: don't mention the original ending. The second rule of Fight Club in China: change it so the police win. They have some of the most restrictive censorship views in the whole world. They only approve like a handful of movies a year to release. You said it perfectly. It just seems like just ban it. But I mean, I guess deprive.
It's not like it's a new release.
But to be fair, the greatest parts of acting that come in that movie from Ed Norton and Brad Pitt are all in the beginning portion of the movie. So, I mean, you can see why they're like, let's not ban it because we cannot take this from the world.
They're big.
They're huge. They're huge pitties. Okay, that's what they call them. It's weird to them. They don't get it. What an absolute joke. Just like, don't release it.
And here's the thing is they didn't just like alter. They deleted it.
You read I don't read the article. Yeah. I just read the headline.
In the original, Norton's character kills off his imaginary.
Spoilers.
Sure. Spoilers for, I guess, what is now a new release, the alternate ending.
That's what I'm saying. We don't want to spoil it. But it was made like 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it now, almost to the point where spoilers do reset after a time.
Yeah. So in the original, Norton's character kills off his imaginary alter ego, Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt, and then watches multiple buildings explode, suggesting that his character's plan to bring down modern civilization is underway. But in the new version in China has a very different take. Norton still kills off Durden, but the exploding building scene has now been explained with a black screen with just words, "The police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding."
Wow, I'm glad that it
then adds that Norton's character I'm sorry. In their version, Tyler Durden wasn't killed, but instead sent to a lunatic asylum for psychological treatment and was later discharged.
Did they watch the movie?
So in their version, it's not. In their version, he's a real person.
You never find out that he's. I don't want to throw the spoilers out there because watch Fight Club if you haven't watched it. But I mean, so in the world, like Brad Pitt is a legit person.
Yeah, in their version,
that's good to know. That honestly makes me a little happier that way.
Do you think they're going to create
the biggest twist in movies that I saw?
Do you think they're going to create like a Chinese Fight Club universe? Cinematic universe?
I honestly wish that they would have, instead of black screening it, they did it with like clearly Chinese actors. And like a quick little, or just like clips synopsis
from other movies.
Just like throwing Ed Norton in it's Ed Norton curb stomping somebody from American History X. They're like, how did this happen?
And they're just like, well, we need to find some spots. So it's like instead of exploding, it just pans over and it's Robert Downey Jr. going, "I am Iron Man." Like, oh, it's the neck. It's
what? Oh my goodness! What a Fight Club! Oh man, China, you wild, dude. You wild. In 2019, in the film Bohemian Rhapsody, referencing the iconic musician Freddie Mercury's sexuality, a pivotal part of the biography completely dropped in China. They're just like, no, nobody's ever gonna know that Freddie Mercury was a gay man. It's the mustache and the outfits. They're never gonna figure this out if we just cut this part. Oh my goodness!
All right.
So what a joke, China. You're a joke, unless you want to, sponsor us. Yeah.
Let's move on to this or that.
Time to cast your vote. Vote your cast. Choose your pick. Pick your choice. Make a decision and take a side for this or that.
All right. Would you rather forced to participate in Big Brother, where you can never get kicked out, but you can also never win, or forced to live in the Jersey Shore house with the show, both for 1 full year, both as a cast member or participant?
It's so, I mean, there's an easy answer. However, just like, there's some merit in both for sure. The one I would choose would be Jersey Shore. And that's because if you can't win Big Brother, it's not nearly as fun to be there. You can't really drink or anything.
I agree, but also when I watch Big Brother, I always think about like how bad I'd be at this game. Because I would get kicked out so quick because the moment shit starts hitting, I'm like, house meeting. I'm like, this motherfucker lied to you. You lied to me. No. This is all the shit.
Bobby,
immediately they're like, okay, well, you're gone.
Bobby, you were under this
I'd be
naive,
so bad at it.
You're under this naive assumption that you're not going to get kicked out almost immediately when you meet the people. You're going to say something that makes everybody mad, and you're never going to get a chance to have a house
immediately
meeting.
I'd be like, so where's the beer?
Exactly.
Like, well, I'm going to go ahead and get kicked out.
Yeah. I mean, you would be out pretty quick, and you wouldn't be on purpose. You would just say something normal for you, something you'd say on the podcast that would get laughs from me, but other people would just be like, oh, "You can't do it. He's got to go." My thing is on the Jersey Shore is like obviously like the advantages are there. However, the disadvantage is which STD are you going to end up with, and that's the dangerous game.
One.
That's what I'm saying. You get some like gonorrhea or something. Sure, no, it sucks, but like we're gonna be good. Let's get some penicillin in this cat. He's gonna be fine. But we start going into like blue waffle or the hivs or something. I mean, I don't want that. So that's the danger right there.
Jersey Shore would be more fun though, and it feels like
way more fun
after the year. More like obviously nowadays, like we have to go back to when Jersey Shore was like big.
When you can do stuff too, like I can talk to people. Like whereas Big Brother, like bro, you're like chilling in a house. Like if they said like, bro, you can drink some beer. We're gonna give you specifically beer since you can't win. I don't know. I'd probably choose the Big Brother house because I get to drink a little bit.
You also can't get kicked out.
Can't get kicked out. Exactly. I can literally just say whatever I want.
Just ruin everyone's plans.
Yeah, like you get, like I get voted out, and then like I'm just back. Yeah. Like, what's up?
You just have a mustache on, or
like
fake glasses.
This is Randon Rond. But they just change my name from letters of the alphabet the whole time.
You just walk around with a black bar over your face.
I'll be a Randon Ond, and then I'll be Brandon Bond, and then I'll be Crandon Cron. They'll be like, this is not fun at all. Like
a Big Brother fantasy ringer.
Right.
Definitely make it to the end.
I get kicked out all the time, but I keep winning events and stuff. Like, yeah, I would be interested to see how I could do in Big Brother. It would be great to be able to like go through the whole thing. But I mean, just ultimately, if I don't get, if I don't get to win, then Jersey Shore, no question.
I also think Jersey Shore would just be more fun.
It would be.
The drama's a different style.
I'm already like thinking about all the Affliction t-shirts I'm gonna buy. I mean, you probably just go to your closet, right? Like
I got rid of all those.
They're
long gone.
What about the this or that potential that you?
I wasn't thinking about that 5 years ago when I got rid of them. Probably more than that. I got rid of them before I was even married.
You stupid idiot.
All right, let's move on to what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right. Start us off. This has to do with the Jacob Panata story. The phrase innocent until proven guilty only works when you're in a court of law.
It's a legal term. I am allowed to hate you no matter what.
You don't get to say that we're not allowed to have opinions on Jacob Panata's making racist gestures because he's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
No one's going. What do you think is happening here?
I don't think that. Let me just say it like this. I think that what this man has done is aberrant. I hate everything about what he did. I don't think he should go to jail. I don't think that he should be convicted of any crimes.
No one's even mentioning convicted.
That
but
being said, I still hate his guts.
Yeah.
It turns out, guilt or not, like I get to prove which guilty to me.
Because you know what the crazy thing is? Those same people that say that innocent until proven guilty, I bet you they have some opinions on O.J. Simpson.
They probably do. And this is and that is the opposite if we're talking about for real. Like that man is under your guise of not yours, but the guise of, innocent until proven guilty, accurate in the court of law.
Yeah.
But like this man was proven innocent by a jury of his peers. It wasn't 12 white guys sitting on the jury that let the man go. It was a mixed group of people that let this man go. He is an innocent of any crime. Now, I personally can think, yeah, he did it because he wrote a book that said, if I did it. Okay? You got to understand the difference here. I don't have to now call O.J. Simpson innocent because jury, look, I was on a jury. Okay. There is a lot of stuff that we don't get to know. Like if the question isn't asked or, there was lots of stuff that me and my fellow jury members were like, I wish they would have asked this and this and this. But it turns out that us 12 just want to make the right decision based off of the information we have. The lawyers and the people involved don't care about that.
So when people are constantly say online, oh, we should hold judgment on this Jacob kid until he's convicted, he's not going to be convicted.
To be fair, I will hold judgment on him. But differently than I'm not going to hold back my judgment. Yeah. It's probably what they're thinking. That like, I'm going to hold judgment. Look, first of all, I hold judgment on literally everyone. Bobby, we've been sitting across from each other all day. We've been doing this podcast for 2 years. We've been friends for almost, coming up on 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
I judge you every time I see you, bro. No offense, okay? And I hope the same, okay? Because I hope one day if I come up and we go out to a bar or something and I look at a person of another race and I'm like super racist to them. Like, I hope you'll judge me for that. I'm not going to go to jail.
It'll be super surprising.
I'm not right. I'm not going to go to jail. But like, it turns out that we're allowed to judge whoever we want. Again, the same reason that you're innocent until proven guilty is the same reason that I can just say you're guilty in my mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love it. I don't have anything. I completely 100% agree with that. I just wanted to add in on your great idea. You had a bunch of good ideas today. The this or that was you. You got bad games of the week, but a good day in the life of a Pucks Out man.
Yeah.
So,
but all right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.